Hey YouTube, Tech for Hire here. Yep, unfortunately, I'm riding the Honda today. Now you're probably saying, why even bother? Well, why bother riding the Honda when you have that beautiful Triumph? Well, since the bike has its own mind to it. Well, since the wife doesn't have her license yet, I got to ride both bikes to keep them up and running. This one's not a bad bike. I mean, it's okay. I say that because I used to ride it every day, and I was like, oh, this is such a great bike. And then I bought the Triumph, and it's like, wow, this is such a shitty bike. But, you know, it's used and got some Vance and Hines staggered pipes on it. Make it sound pretty good. And this is how you know it's a used bike. Got a big old dent on it. I did not do that. That came with the bike. That's also why I got it for $2,500. Let's get out of here. This is so different from riding the Triumph. I do have to say I like this foot position a little bit better. It just feels like a cruiser. But there's that hesitation, like the bike feels heavy. This bike actually feels heavy. But I think it actually weighs less or about the same as the Triumph. And it could be, you know, this bike is carbureted. This one's not fuel injected like the Triumph. So it could be that there's that little hesitation in the throttle. So, and there's the ugly ass cables that I've been wanting to change out. But if you've ever had to work on this bike, I've had to take out the carburetor one time and jet it. And oh my god, it's such a pain in the ass to get to the carburetor. I mean, you got to take the tank off, you got to take all these. This thing's got like 7 different vacuum hoses that are connected to the carburetor. Oh my gosh, it was such a pain in the butt to work on that. But you know, I want to reduce the size of these cables because I mean they stick out almost as far as the headlight does. So I'd like to get those switched out and get something that's a little bit closer to the body so it'd look a little nicer. But now that I have a different bike and this is going to be the wife's bike, I don't know if I really care anymore. That may sound messed up, but it's kind of true. I'm not the one that's going to be riding this all the time. But you know, for what it is, I mean, it's really not that bad. You know, I paid, I think $2,500 was the price that I paid for this bike, and it had the factory. It was completely factory except for the exhaust pipes, and the person that had it before me did not jet the carburetor, so it ran like an absolute dog. It was really slow, very sluggish. Forget, you know, taking it on the freeway because it was gutless. So I finally bought a kit, jetted the carb, and I mean this freaking thing woke up. Originally it had a stage 2 kit on it, but the stage 2 kit didn't really work out. You could smell the fuel when you started it up. It was just too big. Oh, kitty cat. So anyway, so I put a stage 1, which meant I had to take the carburetor off again. So I've done it twice. Taken off the carburetor, put on the stage 1 kit, and man, this thing runs like a champ now. Never have any issues with this bike. I mean, you got to give it up to Honda. I mean, they do make very good quality vehicles and bikes. I mean, sure, you know, it's not something that you want to like go, hey, guess what I ride a Honda. But these things never break down, and there's not really any maintenance that you have to do other than just changing the oil and shit. So it's not too chubby. Going by the school, so let's see if I can get run over. Stop you. Stop. Okay. Now we're good. Yeah, I did a few changes to this bike. You know, got the Daymaker LED headlight on it. I put that on myself. I had to completely change out the housing because the stock housing wouldn't allow for a standard halogen bulb to be put in there. It actually had like a proprietary connector, so I had to like take all that crap out, buy a different headlight bucket, and put all that stuff in there. So that was interesting. I had a whole how-to on how to do that. It was pretty neat. Did that for like a weekend. I've changed out the handlebars, because the original handlebars were like, you had it down here and it really didn't feel very safe. I mean, I really don't understand what that hand position was all about, but it was really awkward, and I felt like I was gonna wreck the bike every time I rode it, just because it didn't feel comfortable. Like, the position that I have now is obviously due to aftermarket bars, but like the original bars were like here. They were like all the way over here. It was like, no, I need them out here. So he's tired too. But yeah, so they had them out there. It was really awkward, and I looked up, what to actually get to replace it. So these are Honda Magna risers. So from all my reading, it was like, yeah, those bolt right up and they give you the reach that you need, and then you can put in pretty much whatever bar you want. And I was like, all right, that works. So I think these are 1-inch Harley Davidson handlebars. So it actually worked out quite nicely. It looks pretty good. And if you can tell, that BMW just kind of darted in front of me just because they're a dick. Yeah, sure, they use their blinker, but they're still a dick. Over in the UK, do you guys have dickhead BMW riders, or are they cool over there? Because out here, the people that are dicks on the road, it's usually a BMW driver, a Prius driver, or a minivan driver. For some reason, those guys are the biggest assholes. Now, you figure it's the BMW guy because he's like, oh, look at me, I've got a BMW. Or you have the minivan drivers, which is, son of a bitch, I have to drive a minivan, so I'm going to drive like a complete asshole. Hopefully somebody crashes into me, and then I can buy that pickup truck I was looking for. Or you got the Prius drivers, which is, oh, my farts smell so wonderful. So I'm just going to drive extremely slow and show you what a savior of the environment I am by driving like a complete asshole. And guess what? I can do that because I can drive like an asshole and save the environment at the same time. Ha ha! It's like, oh, shit. They're kind of lucky that they don't allow us to have guns every day. There might be some truth to the fact that there might be more shootings if people are allowed to have handguns all the time. But, it's kind of one of those things. If you have a gun, you have responsibility, and usually you'll think twice about it. It's kind of like, when you take martial arts, you think you're going to, beat everybody up, but you actually fight less when you have martial arts because you just know that if anybody messes with you, you'll kick their ass. And that's actually what happened to me. Is I used to get in arguments and fights all the time. And I had a mouth on me when I was a kid. And I still do. I'm a smart ass. But when I was younger, man, I would get into fights all the time. And then I decided to take martial arts just because I was getting my ass kicked. I was really, really small. And so I took martial arts. And you know what? I found that I talked a lot of crap, but it didn't really escalate anymore. Like, I didn't take it to that next level because I guess I felt like I just didn't have to. So I was actually a lot more calm. I had a lot more confidence in my ability, and so I didn't feel that need to check my ego and want to fight people all the time. So that was kind of good. And now that's like 15 years ago. I still don't fight, and I'll probably get my ass kicked if I tried to fight, because it's been so long since I've ever been in a confrontation now. But I still feel pretty good about my abilities, like the things that I learned. So I could probably get in a good lick or two, but I haven't punched anything solid in such a long time. I'll probably punch somebody full speed and it'll just look like I slapped him in the face with a fish. And it's like, please don't kill me. But nowadays, as you get older, it's like I'm also less confrontational too, because it's like, hey, that guy might have a gun. I might want to watch who I talk shit to, because they might shoot my ass. So, fear is, and I wouldn't say that I'm scared, but I'm just saying, I should say it's a healthy respect for my life. That will definitely change your attitude on confrontations. I think my back tire is low. When you get in that turn, you're on the side of your tire, and then you hit a bump, it kind of goes a little fishy. I have a feeling that this is where I missed the Triumph. Look at that, no power, gutless. Now granted, I wasn't cranking on it, but just a little flick of the wrist, and the Triumph, I would have been hauling ass. And this thing, it's like, hey, I'm making more noise. But like I said, this is a great beginner bike. And I had somebody asking me, in a previous video if the Triumph was a great beginner bike. And I'm saying, if this is your first time riding anything, you need a bike like this. Makes a lot of noise, gets you seen, gets that feeling for riding a motorcycle, but it's not so fast that you can get yourself in trouble. Oh look, it's a Subaru. I used to like those cars. Not that specific body style, because I just don't like the hatchback look, but for a long time I wanted to get a Subaru. Subaru STI. Not anymore. Not anymore. I think it's because I've been in Bakersfield too long, and Bakersfield is kind of like the armpit of California, and it's where they say it's actually, we have the worst air quality in the United States. It's just because we have a lot of agriculture. So when I say agriculture, I mean we got a lot of cows. So, and with a lot of agriculture, you have a lot of fertilizers that gets in the air. So yeah, we have the crappiest, literally the crappiest air in the United States, but it's really all not that bad. I mean, I have allergies like a mofo. I mean, the worst case right now is like you can't see the mountains. I can see them, but they're silhouetted. Silhouetted? Is that right? I don't know. But, other than that, I mean, it's fine. It's no big deal. At least, like, you go to LA, you can chew the air. You get all sorts of different smells. Bakersfield is fine. But I think being out here, I've been out here so long that I now want a truck. And that's kind of the scary part, because I've never wanted a truck in my life. I'm like, I don't need a truck. But I had to have a truck, so I bought a used Dodge pickup, and that was going to get me over. And then I was like, you know what? I want this new Chevy Colorado ZR2 that comes out. It's like a performance off-road truck with diesel, and hasn't come out yet. And I wanted to get that truck pretty bad, but I knew with what I make, because I work for the government, and I shouldn't say government, I work for the city. So I'm not like one of those government people, but yeah, I work for the city, so I don't make squat when it comes to money. And people think that working for a government you make all this money. Yeah, you really don't. And your retirement actually kind of sucks now. So maybe back in the day, you know, like I'd say even 10 years ago, working for the city, you made some damn good money. I actually, let me change that. You didn't make damn good money. You made damn good retirement. Like your pension was really good. Like I knew a guy that retired just maybe 3 years ago. He had 25, 26 years into the city, and previously they allowed you to gain more percentage depending on the years that you worked. So, okay, so like right now I get a wage, that's 100%, right? When I retire, if I work for 30 years, I would make like 90 or 89% of what I make now, which is, it's not bad, but that's 30 freaking years at one job, right? So I can get 90%. Well, this fool that used to work here, okay, are you gonna go? He would make 120% of what his standard paycheck was. So when he retired, he actually got a 20% pay increase. And that's just crazy. I mean, they don't do that now, but holy moly. Now, I can understand back then when people were like, oh yeah, city workers, they make so much money. They don't. Yeah, they really don't. There's a few oil companies in Bakersfield, and for what I do, they pay their employees like $100,000 a year. Yeah, I make just a little over half of that. So yeah, it's not that great. But the thing that I like about working for the city is they don't just fire you. And that's the nice part. I've worked with so many companies where they decide to outsource your position and say, okay, thank you for coming in, and yeah, we're letting you go now. And you're like, why are you letting me go? I've worked really hard. And they're like, well, we just decided to outsource IT from now on. It's like, you son of a bitch. And they know it. It's kind of one of those things where it's not like a mom and pop shop where, you know, you've worked for them for so long and they feel like you have a, you owe it to the employer to, like, you know, give them that extra little effort. Well, companies nowadays, they're like, they don't give a crap about their employees. So if they're like, yeah, we're gonna lay everybody off. Oh, almost had an accident right here. This Mazda's or freaking Nissan's not letting them through. What an idiot. But anyways, so there's no loyalty. That's the word that I wanted. Loyalty. There's no loyalty to the employer and the employee. So the employer is just like, well, you're just another number, so we're just going to slot you in, and you can easily be replaced. So, but anyways, so yeah, so they could just easily replace you. You're just a number. So it kind of sucks, you know, nowadays that they could just replace you, and they absolutely don't care. And they're like, you know, oh yeah, I just had a kid. They're like, oh, that's great. By the way, you're fired. It's like, what? It's like, why are you firing me? Oh, I found a cheaper way to have my employees. And that's kind of their prerogative. You know, that's their thing. That's what they can do. The trade-off to that is you make a shit ton of money, but there's no longevity with these companies. I mean, you just kind of, to cover your butt, you have to constantly switch different companies to make any money and to keep yourself from getting pigeonholed and eventually getting fired. So, or laid off is the correct terminology. So it's kind of nice with the city because they don't do that. You know, they're not just going to lay a bunch of people off. The downside of that is they have a bunch of people that they should get rid of because they're absolutely lazy and worthless, but you can't get rid of them because they're protected by the union, which is weird. How is a government entity controlled by a union? I don't know, but that's what we have to deal with, and it just really stinks because there's a lot of people that, I shouldn't say a lot of people, there's a couple people that even I work with was like, hey, maybe you should find a new career because you're not really good at this one and you really don't like your job and you kind of suck at it and you're making me work twice as hard because you don't do anything. But it's kind of like working in the DMV, I would imagine. And for the folks in the UK, our Department of Motor Vehicles, I'm sure it's the same everywhere, government-run program, it sucks. But there is this trick this guy told me that I thought was really funny. He bought a Border Patrol jacket and hat, and whenever he goes into the DMV, he wears them, and he says the place absolutely clears out. So I thought about doing that myself, but I don't want to get jacked. But it's kind of true. We have a lot of illegal people that are here that take up our resources, but politicians are trying to tell you that's not the case. She just wanted to go as slow as she wanted to. Do. All right. Well, thank you for listening to me ramble about all sorts of different stuff, but the answer to the question is no. A 2004 Honda Shadow Aero 750 is not better than the 2017 Triumph Bobber. I'll just put that out there. I'm sure you guys already knew the answer to that, but I was going to tell you anyways. Oh, left my blinker on. All right. Have a good one. Bye.